What's going on, YouTube fam? This your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of Hood Tales, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case. For the day one fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Let's get right into the story. Being a teenager is an exciting time in life for most people. You are old enough to know what's going on around you, but young enough to not have to take on too much and enjoy your youth. I have 2 teenage daughters. I often tell them, don't rush to grow up, leave home, and take on real responsibilities. Enjoy every minute of your teen years, because once they are gone, there's no going back. Some of them experiences at that age shape us to who we become later in life, whether they are good or bad. The only thing about that is, some people go through certain things as a young person that's considered traumatizing to most, and they might hold on to that trauma for years to come. But at least they are still allowed to talk about it and deal with their issues. Some lose their life as a teen, getting their dreams and goals snatched away, not even getting a chance to experience life. I know in certain environments, kids grow up fast, hop in growing up activities, and are looked at as such. But some take their time, do all the right things, and unfortunately can still get caught up in a situation they were too young to peep or simply just not ready for. And on this episode of Hood Tales, we will be taking it to Allentown, Pennsylvania to discuss a young girl's fatal encounter for just being at the wrong place at the wrong time. Back in 2018, 16-year-old Carolina Monsanto was a senior in high school. Described as a happy young lady, athletic, playing sports for her school, and being super excited about life. Her and her family moved from Jersey to Allentown when she was a little younger. One day, wanting to be a nurse, Carolina took on a go-getter mentality. At 16, working 2 jobs to support herself, having her own car, even helping her family out financially whenever they needed it. All the characteristics of a driven, responsible young adult. By the summer of 2018, the young lady was said to be dating a 19-year-old young man who we will call Aaron. Being a tight-knit community of row houses, the young couple made friends with an older couple that allegedly gave Aaron a place to stay. A 31-year-old woman we will call Tiffany, and a 36-year-old man named Antoine Washington, nicknamed Twiz. The older couple had children of their own, 2 kids that lived at their home on 533 Harrison Street. But Antoine and Tiffany had recently been beefing and planning on a separation. On July 29th, Antoine had left the home for a trip to New York, telling Tiffany to sell his car so he could have money to leave. She agreed, thought she found the buyer, but at the last minute, the person backed out of the sale. But by that time, Antoine was already heading back to Pennsylvania. On July 31st, Aaron and Carolina were visiting Tiffany, sitting in the kitchen helping her cook chicken. Antoine, returning from his trip, entered the home as Aaron tried to say what's up to him. Allegedly, the man seemed irritated, stating, "Don't say nothing to me, bro." Another conversation started between Antoine and Tiffany, as she was surprised he was even home. But the man got more and more heated as he glanced around, eventually going upstairs. Antoine owned 2 guns, a .380 and 9. As Tiffany and the others stayed in the kitchen cooking, Antoine returned downstairs with a blick in his hand, asking Tiffany, "What you call me?" Said again, thinking she disrespected him and called him out his name. But she didn't respond. Seconds later, shots went off. Antoine emptied the whole clip, shooting blindly in the house. Aaron was struck, but was able to run to the basement, then out the back door, screaming at neighbors and passing calls for help. One neighbor entered the home to find Tiffany also hit, but conscious. But lying on the other side of the table was 16-year-old Carolina, shot multiple times, gasping for air. She was calling Tiffany's name for help. The neighbor quickly called police, By this time, Antoine had fled the scene. As police arrived to the home, they saw all 3 victims wounded. They all were quickly rushed to Lehigh Valley Hospital. Tiffany and Aaron was good and survived the attack, but unfortunately, 16-year-old Carolina wouldn't make it. Back at the home, detectives spoke to neighbors, in which one stated they saw Antoine run out the home with a gun in his hand. He glanced at them, froze for a minute before taking off. Talking to Tiffany and Aaron, they both stated Antoine snapped and just started shooting wildly. As the news made its way around the community, people were shocked. Antoine's and Tiffany's neighbors stated they often hung out back as both families had kids and pools. They socialized while watching the kids play. Carolina's family was heartbroken. Her father told News he was numb and didn't even know his daughter was at the home or knew the older couple. Her cousin stated it didn't feel real and he was expecting his little cousin to come walking in at any minute. Carolina's friends were also grieving, describing her as a loyal best friend who helped and wanted the best for everybody, as a memorial was being held for the young lady. Police already had a suspect, but Antoine was MIA. 2 days later after the shooting, he turned himself in to Allentown police, charged with first-degree hit and 2 attempts, held without bail. As the case made its way to trial, it was stated Aaron was allegedly a roommate in the oldest couple home. Antoine's lawyers painted a picture of him and Tiffany arguing. Aaron then allegedly pulled a blick out. That's when Antoine zapped out and grabbed his own gun, letting off shots. But the court wasn't buying it. Tiffany and Aaron both took the stand, stating Antoine just flipped out. Taking a stand in his own defense, Antoine stated, "I wasn't in my right state of mind and been battling certain addiction. When I came home from my trip and made a terrible mistake that I take full responsibility for." He asked Carolina's family for forgiveness. As her family spoke out in anger, Carolina's people explained how Antoine shot her 16 times, how they would never see her graduate high school or achieve her dreams. It later came out Tiffany was shot 5 times. Aaron was hit once before escaping, but Carolina froze at the table. Eventually, Antoine pleaded guilty, but not a first-degree hit, but third-degree, as the judge felt like Antoine had no ill will towards the young lady, and the shooting wasn't premeditated. He was sentenced to 27 to 55 years in prison. Antoine's family pleaded that he not be viewed as a monster. He had 6 siblings, was a mentor to younger people, and grew up in the Bronx. Lost his parents at a young age, but that's the reason Aaron was staying at the home, because Antoine allegedly was helping the young man who had nowhere to go. Tiffany was actually speaking up for Antoine as well, stating Aaron was armed, but the judge or Carolina's family wasn't moved, stating, well, the 16-year-old didn't have a weapon at all. Rest in peace to Carolina. I send my deepest prayers and condolences to her family. I can't imagine what kind of emotions her mother and father felt, losing their daughter like that. What resonated with me is her father stating he didn't even know she was over there. As a young woman or man out here, I know life seems so exciting, and sometimes y'all just want to be on the scene and have fun. I know Carolina wasn't in the wrong and could have never saw this coming, but as I did this story, I wish she could have peeped the vibe and left the home as the older couple started fighting. She was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Antoine crashed out over words and hit an innocent person. I get his family says he helped the youth, but that's why as men, we have to control our emotions and anger, because this situation will be all people see. The bad, unfortunately, outweighs the good. As a young girl was hit 16 times. So remember, we gotta succeed, not to fail, so we won't be just another hood tale. Man, this is a sad story. Crazy situation all around the board. Rest in peace, that young lady, man. I couldn't imagine the kind of pain her family went through. But yeah, man, y'all heard the story. I ain't gonna talk too much more on this one. Leave it in the comments. Definitely be respectful. Let me know what y'all think. I appreciate you if you made it to the end, fam. Y'all already know this is another episode of Hood Tales. It's your boy Tony 2 times. Love, I'm out.